Hi, it's Dr. Games, and I wanted to talk to you today a little about 3D modeling. And I want to give you some hints and tricks that I've learned over the past 3 years. There's a lot of makers out there in the audience and a lot of folks who are getting involved in 3D printing. And one of the issues you run into is that you would like to remove interior faces. Now, I'm using a absolutely free package here called a Blender, and this is not the absolute newest version of it, but it's good enough for what we're going to do. And I have a very simple OBJ file that has a cube inside a cube. Now, if you do an internet search, it will tell you that if you go into edit mode, and I'll just show you what it looks like in object mode with the wireframe, and if I do this as a solid, that other box is completely contained inside the cube. And if I go to edit mode, then you can, and we'll do wireframe, and you can see that it's in there. One of the things that it tells you to do, or many of the online things tell you to do, is if you go to select, and then you can do interior faces, and then you can select the interior faces, and then you can go ahead and I'm going to hit the X button, and then theoretically if you delete vertices, it would get rid of all of those ones. You know what? That didn't work, right? I mean, it didn't work. So that's what you'd have to do instead in this particular case is go in and try to individually capture each one of those things, and imagine that it's not this very simple process now, or very simple object, but instead it's something with 20,000 plus little vertices, which is very easy to do if you've done any kind of 3D modeling. So we're not going to use Blender to do this because it doesn't work. Hi, so we're back, and now we're using Meshlab, another free program, 2016.12. We'll go ahead and bring in our mesh, cleverly called Cube in Cube. We use a little bit different controls in this than we do in Blender. I'm using the middle mouse wheel. Zoom in and out, and if I depress and hold down the left mouse button, I can rotate around. Now I can't see the internal cube because it's got the faces colored. I'm going to get rid of that, and now you can see that there's that internal cube. Alright, so what we'll do in this particular case is we'll go ahead and color by ambient occlusion. We're going to do per vertex. We're going to go ahead and apply that. And now we're going to go ahead and select by vertex quality. Let's go down lower. Aha! So if you go up here, if it's at the high end, it's not going to select those ones that have a really awful quality. Now, if you go all the way up to the best quality you can have, you know, it selects everything. So you got to make sure, you might have to play with it a little bit, especially if you have a very complex model, you might have to play with it a little bit. Anyway, in our particular case, we're just selecting the ones that are all the way on the inside there. And then we come up to, we can close that actually, and then we can come here to selection and delete selected vertices, which is just also the shortcut for it. Keyboard shortcut is Control-Delete. Let's go ahead and do that. Ta-da! All done. So that I have found that this is the easiest way to clean up a manifold from the inside. And there are many tricks associated with Meshlab. But I think a lot of people have talked about how you do skinning and quadratic reduction of faces and that type of thing. I am delighted to do those videos if you are interested in them. And I might anyway, just from a completeness standpoint. But this is one that's, I think, particularly difficult and causes you lots of problems because it just adds complexity to your models. Okay, thank you very much, and that's about it for today's video. Please subscribe.